Hi guys, thanks for joining us again on the channel. So, there's a reason I haven't talked about this one until now. It's not because I didn't want to talk about it, but because I needed to get it right. And now, the wait's over. But before we get into that, don't forget to check this exclusive discount for it. You can find the link in both the video description and the top comment below. Now, let's not waste any more time and jump right into the details. Starting things off, our first reviewer gives us their perspective.
This reviewer was seriously impressed with the performance of this new mesh system, especially considering their previous setup. Their old house, with its dense walls and tin ceilings, was a real challenge for their old router and range extender combo. The Wi-Fi performance was sluggish at best. On the patio, our reviewer mentioned that download speeds were often so slow they'd just use their phone as a hotspot instead. In the living room, where the TV and game console were connected, speeds were painfully slow, making something as simple as a game update feel like it took forever. Getting this Wi-Fi solution up and running involved a couple of steps. Our client noted they needed to purchase additional network switches, as each unit only has 2 Ethernet ports. The setup itself is handled entirely through a smartphone app. There was a minor hiccup where the first attempt didn't take, but a second try got the main unit configured successfully. Adding the second node downstairs was then a flawless and simple process through the same app. There are a couple of downsides worth mentioning. The biggest one for this user was the complete reliance on a smartphone for configuration. The web browser interface on a PC is basically just a status screen with no real control. This client also missed having the high-level configuration options found on their previous devices. Much of the network management is handled automatically by this system, which might not appeal to those who like to have more granular control over their network settings. Despite those critiques, the performance gains were described as dramatic. The signal strength is now solid throughout the house. That patio, which previously struggled, now gets excellent speeds. The living room saw a massive boost, going from just a couple of megabits per second to speeds well into the hundreds. The upstairs bedroom experienced a similar huge improvement, all their existing D.
Let's begin by examining the insights provided by our first reviewer.
This reviewer found the performance of this new mesh system to be a massive leap forward in speed. Paired with a capable computer and a fast internet connection, the raw performance is genuinely impressive and a significant upgrade over older technology. Getting the system up and running is entirely dependent on a smartphone app. Once our reviewer got the app installed, the initial process of linking the primary and secondary units was surprisingly straightforward and much simpler than their previous setup. However, the reliance on the app quickly became a source of frustration. The user interface felt poorly designed, making it difficult to find essential options. The initial connection sequence was unclear, and it took several tries to get it right. Simple tasks like establishing a separate network for guests required digging through confusing menus. This client also noted the system's ability to create an isolated network for smart home devices was obscured by an unexplained acronym, forcing them to guess its meaning. The app seemed more interested in promoting add-on services than providing clear, accessible functions. Beyond the software, there was a physical limitation with the hardware itself. The main unit offers very few wired connection ports. After plugging in the modem and a network switch, there was barely any room left for other devices like a network-attached storage system, let alone other computers that need a hardwired connection. This felt like a step backward from previous routers that offered more flexibility. Ultimately, the biggest complaint was the complete lack of useful documentation. With no detailed online manual and an unhelpful app, our reviewer, a professional with a background in computer hardware, found the process challenging. They concluded that a less tech-savvy person would likely be left completely stuck and waiting on a support line for help.
Great! Now let's see what our next reviewer has to say about their experience.
This reviewer has been using this mesh Wi-Fi system for a few months now, and their experience is a bit of a mixed bag. This client is primarily using 2 of these units to create a bridge to a PC connected via LAN, in addition to leveraging their wireless access point functionality. On the positive side, the reviewer raves about the fantastic bandwidth for local network file transfers. They also find that, when the quality of service (QoS) features are disabled, the system distributes internet bandwidth quite effectively. Furthermore, setup and overall management are deemed excellent. Our reviewer believes that complaints about missing network management features are overly critical, as you can still hide networks, filter access, assign IP addresses, and create port forwarding rules. The ability to easily manage the network from a phone is also highlighted as a particularly valuable feature. However, the cons are significant. The biggest issue, according to this client, is the poor recovery from power outages, disconnects, or even simply moving a unit when used as routers. Our reviewer spent hours troubleshooting after initially moving one of the units, eventually resorting to a factory reset of the main unit and rebuilding the entire network. The process of getting it back online is described as a careful, patient, and ridiculously time-consuming ordeal. Apparently, this issue is specific to router mode, so they might be ideal for those only seeking access points. But anyone prone to power loss, beware. The reviewer also notes that the CoS feature seems to limit the maximum bandwidth available to even the highest priority device, allotting a slice of total download bandwidth instead of the whole thing. This reviewer is on a gigabit connection, so a slice might still be substantial for most users. Despite these drawbacks, the reviewer is keeping the mesh system and appreciates its features. However, they strongly urge the manufacturer to address the issue of poo.
And that's a wrap. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment if you've got thoughts. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.